Are you living in the transit oriented development area or planning to buy an investment property there in the hope that you're going to get top dollar for your property in the near future, in under 5 years when all that construction boom happens? Think again, because I will give you today the three reasons why I believe that that just may be a pipe dream and all of that development and appreciation is probably 10 to 15 years away. Hi, my name is Roshan Victor. I'm a local realtor here in the Fraser Valley, and I help families just like yourself make the right decision based on information, knowledge, and common sense. If you have a property which is designated in the transit oriented development area, make sure to watch the video till the end and hit the like and the subscribe button, also the bell icon, so that you can be notified on all the new videos that I put out. Before we get started, I want you to understand a few terms which I'll be talking about in this video. It's on the screen out here. DCC stands for Development Cost Charges. CAC stands for Community Amenities Contribution. ACC stands for Amenities Cost Charges. Surety bonds, in-stream protection. Now, the answer to all your questions, let's start by reading this article. Governments are turning a corner on development fees. Will it make any difference? And why am I saying that it is going to take a long time for recovery? Let's dig straight into the article, which I have earmarked for you. According to all the developers, the real problem lies here. The real problem, both Jones and Blackwell say, is the way infrastructure is funded, which is generally through the collection of development fees and property taxes. Because raising property tax is tantamount to political suicide, and I'm sure you and I will not like our property taxes going higher, the financial burden disproportionately falls on new construction. Growth pays for growth, as many governments say. There is a glimmer of hope, however, as the Liberals pledged during the elections to lower development fees and support infrastructure. When it's coming to fusion is unclear. I have another chart which I want to share with you. This is Vancouver condo budget, and this is a little older, so do not go by the date. The numbers may have changed since then. But if you go to see, in theory, when you buy a $1.12 million property, approximately government fees itself is 29.25%. So for every dollar that you're paying for a condo, a brand new condo, 29.25 cents is towards the government. And now what is more important to understand is the project timelines. From the time the developer buys your property right at the start to the time he applies for rezoning, it takes him 12 to 18 months to do that. Then going for the development permit, that's where he starts selling the pre-sales. And then after selling the pre-sales, after getting everything done, he needs building permits and all of that. The approximate project timeline is 76 months to 84 months before he can actually get the entire payment out. Isn't that a huge risk? And in the current market, let's talk quickly about what's going on. Because the government cannot increase taxes, they started putting most of the burden on the developers for all the new infrastructure that was needed, may it be schools, parks, roadways, sewers, and other infrastructure projects. Here is where it's important. Here in British Columbia, the story really begins in fall 2023 when the Metro Vancouver Regional District revealed that it was raising its development cost charge, the DCC that I mentioned, in some cases doubling or tripling the existing rates, which vary depending on location and property type, despite pushback from the Federal Ministry of Housing, Sean Fraser, at that time. And this, they said, would be phased out in January 1st, 2025, 2026, 2027, so on and so forth. Just to explain to you what DCC means, it is development cost charge. These are fees that a developer pays to the city to help fund infrastructure, roads, sewer, parks, etc. Apart from DCC, there is another kind of levy or fees called CAC, which is Community Amenities Contribution, and there is no fixed rate for it. So for every development, the developer has to negotiate with the city prior to the development being approved of how much that contribution is going to be. Let's look at one great example of that, where the city levied a CAC on a project which made it non viable, and the developer took the city to court and won. And this is between Laurel Development Limited and Township of Langley. In an interview, Laurel Development President and CEO Thomas Martini says they were planning a business park, film studio, and commercial space on about 70 acres of land that was designated for employment use. Now, if this project would have gone through earlier, we would have a lot more employment in the Fraser Valley. Now, see how the government has messed this one up. However, after the 2022 municipal elections brought in a new council, the township opted to update the Williams neighborhood plan and introduce a CAC policy, resulting in Laurel being charged nearly $40 million in CACs, which are not usually levied on commercial projects and made the project unviable. Long story short, the project did not go through, and well, we all know that in this case, the developer did win against the city, and this is what the developer said. What I think is important to highlight is that the mayor and his slate took a gamble. When they ran in the last elections, they were very clear that one of their main mandates was to have developers pay for soccer fields, hockey rinks, and other amenities. I think the gamble hasn't paid off, and I imagine they are quite embarrassed by that because now they have to find the dollars to pay for the monies they have already borrowed. At one aspect, the city has to provide its residents with amenities. On another aspect, it wants somebody else to pay for it. Well, that's not the best ideal scenario, especially for developments which can bring in a lot more employment and help the economy. I think there need to be exceptions made. So, like I started the video by saying that it is going to take a long time for you to actually get top dollar for your investment or your property that lies in a transit oriented development area. There are a few additional things I would like to go over. Example is, why is it no longer viable to build good projects at economical pricing in the lower mainland? I think across the board, I have been surprised with how high ACC rates are. Now, what's an ACC? It is a predetermined percentage of project value which goes towards infrastructure. Now, those rates are still pretty high. They are not like DCC or COCs, so significantly higher. Commenting on some of the ACC programs that he has seen. So far, the ones that have published projected rates have not really done a fulsome financial analysis. And I think that's a real important part of the process and legislation, because if you're doing those rates based on the market today, they're not viable, because most of these projects or projections were done in the past, in 2022 and earlier 2023. Those were, the market was pretty high. Right now the market is pretty slumped, and those numbers don't work, or those rates don't work. Everything shifted and most project opportunities became non-viable when the Metro Vancouver DCCs went through. Jones added, the theory is that it would reset the land market and land values would come down. But that's a misconstrued understanding, because there's other things you can do with land. What's happening right now, predominantly with the TOD sites, are worth more in their existing commercial retail use as they are in redevelopment because of the fees and charges. And the same theory applies to the residential single family homes or townhome complexes which are close to or within the TOD and can be developed into mixed use or high rises. We are having those conversations around the region right now, where it makes more sense to leave a site as an existing strip mall or a grocery anchored shopping center. That's a more financially prudent decision and higher land value than it is to go under a multi-billion-dollar development. It's really undermining the province's effort around the TOD. That being said, like we discussed over here, the overall timelines, by the time developers realize or can make sense out of the market price going as high as they were in 2021 to make anything financially viable, So now, based on all the taxes and levies that developers have to pay, and indirectly you as the homeowner has to pay, and the overall project timelines, which are in excess of 76 to 84 months, considering all these factors, plus the high cost of construction, better land value at the current use rather than its future potential development, price per square feet of the new pre-sales that are being built or sold, not justifying a redevelopment project. Here are three reasons why I believe that it is going to take a long time for you as a homeowner in a transit oriented development to get top dollar for your property. Number one, the recovery of this market is going to take approximately 5 to 7 more years to return to its peak. Based on that, the high construction cost. And the third most important reason is the high levies and taxes that a developer has to pay upfront to the government, and the bureaucracy and timelines that are based on which do not make any project viable at this point. So if you are in these areas and looking to cash out in the next 5 years, you need to rethink your strategy. And if you have a property in these areas and want to know what the true value of that property is, we can help you do that. Reach out with the link in my description below to book a one-on-one consult. Let's go over your situation and see what is the best solution for you, whether it is waiting for the next 5, 10, 15 years and getting you the top dollar, or finding you an alternate solution which gives you the same rate of return. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, see ya.